This is your city. This is your city wants to know. We want to know the background, the heartbeat of what makes up our beautiful cities. We dig into the backstories, from the struggles to the successes of our local entrepreneurs, small business owners, artists, not-for-profit organizations, and the many, many people who make up the intricate tapestry of our communities. Real people, real stories, by you and for you. But wait, that's not it. I love giving my opinion. Just ask anyone who knows me. We can't get enough of the honest, gritty feedback of places that we spend our hard-earned money. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the places I eat, sleep, and visit. Disclaimer, my opinion only. All right, so come on, let's get to it.
Hey everyone, Kim here. Just a little insert to say the interview with Melissa Klassen from Costa Rica, the relocation specialist, was so good. We had so much to talk about, especially since Costa Rica has now opened their borders to Canada and people are going to be wanting to go away for the winter season. We just thought that we're going to have to do it in 2 sections to get it all in. So I hope you enjoy this one, part 1, and be sure to click on part 2. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to This Is Your City. As always, this is Kim Wardell, your host, and I'm so happy you tuned in. I have been sitting around going stir crazy for the last few months, as I'm sure most of you have. I'm a traveler. I have a travel bug that seems to attack me at the most strangest times. And of course, it's attacking me now because I can't go anywhere. So it's almost like my mind is playing with me. You know, I want to go to Cuba. I love Cuba. I want to go so many places right now, but I can't. I don't know about all of the countries out there, but I know here in Canada, we have a thing called snowbirds. You might have heard of what that is. It's people who live in this country certain times of the year, and then during our winter months, they go off and they live somewhere else for the remainder of the winter. So they're always in a warmer climate. And I know a few of them myself and family members, and they're starting to get a little nervous that they're not going to be able to do that because we don't know what's happening. Because many of the countries around the world right now, they're just waiting for the okay to open their borders to the rest of the world. The travel and tourism industry is taking a massive hit, and they're just waiting for the travel ban to be lifted. But I got some good news. Now, with that travel ban and all of these countries just saying, let in the tourists, you know, Costa Rica is no exception. But the good news is that as of August 1st, Costa Rica has been allowing some low-risk countries to enter into their country, and Canada happens to be on that list. So that's something, if you're a snowbird and you're terrified that you're not going to be able to get out of the country this year, Costa Rica is your place to go. But whether you want to live in Costa Rica full-time or part-time, or you want a luxury vacation, maybe you want to purchase some property, some land, or a business. My guest tonight is so highly, highly respected amongst her peers, and she's considered an expert in her field. So if you're dreaming about vacation to relocation, come with me and we're going to discover how with Miss Melissa Klassen. Hi, Melissa, how are you? Welcome.
Well, hello, Kimberly. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that introduction.
Oh, I can see by your background that's where we want to go, is somewhere with a beach. Is that your actually somewhere in Costa Rica or both?
Costa Rica, yes. Come on down. And nice. I just love the way you, talked about, because I also am a sister Canadian of yours.
That's right. Yes.
So you are in Ontario and I was in the Western. My husband and I are from Western Canada. And so I understand that need to get away, in the winter. And then as we work, we dream, and we hear about those snowbirds that are escaping for 3 months or 6 months a year, and then some leaving altogether. So we flew away from the nest completely. But everyone has a different reason for doing what they need to do. So
That's true. But before we get into that, I want to be not just thanking you for being here with us tonight and sharing what we're going to be talking about, but I want to say thank you for helping me dream again. Like I said, I've been starting to get this bug in me, and it's like I'm dreaming of sun and ocean breezes and delicious cocktails. And now that you know that places like Costa Rica are actually welcoming Canadians, that actually takes that oomph away a little bit, because you get stuck in a rut. And if we can't go to our normal places, or we want to go experience something different, it just makes me go, wow, there's options.
absolutely.
Up there. And you, like you just said, being a fellow Canuck, to the rest of the world out there, that means Canadian. You're a fellow Canuck, you get that. But you come from the West Coast, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So British
Yes.
Columbia?
So my husband is from just outside of Vancouver,
Okay.
and I'm from Alberta. So
Okay.
the sunny skies of Alberta and the gray skies of BC in the winter, but
Right. Beauty
colder in Alberta.
anyway. Yeah. So that's a perfect place to segue in. Like, what made you decide to go to Costa Rica?
Well, I, like you, really needed to get away for at least, I would think, 2 weeks. 1 week sometimes, you could head to Mexico from Calgary or Edmonton and spend a week and be ready to come home. But so we just, like so many Canadians and Americans would head south. And we tried lots of different places. We went to Mexico many times. We went to Belize, Spain, Panama. I haven't been to Cuba, but we just always found ourselves dreaming while we were on vacation, thinking to ourselves, now, why can't we live where we want a vacation and then just come back and see family and friends in Canada? And we had just our dogs at that time, and we still have our furry friends. We've got almost a little entourage now, but I can tell you about that later. But we were always thinking down that road and that path. And even though we had great jobs and really had a beautiful house and loved, we were in Calgary for our last 10 years, really loved it. But we felt like there was something more. And we felt like, could we really be those kind of people that would step out and even purchase something and start a brand new life, midlife, not waiting until we got retired or until we were able to retire. And I think the clincher for me, and I'll go back to my story very quickly and how we ended up here. But my father was a little older when he had his family. And so I remember growing up and seeing him working and saying, I just need to get out of the cold for the winters. And at that time, he wanted to go to Arizona and have a place to spend the winters. But by the time he was 58 years old, he was on disability. And insurance was just too much for him to travel to a warm country and escape these winters that he was also allergic to, like I am. And so as a result, he never could. He never could travel. And so I think that was something that I learned, our futures aren't guaranteed. And so, we may think we want to do something in the future, but if we believe and feel compelled to do it now, and we feel called to do it now, then maybe anything is possible. So that's kind of what helped us take that courage and that leap of faith. But that's, so I can thank my father for that. But in 2001, after traveling to all of these other places that I just described over the years, we decided to go to Costa Rica in February. And a cousin of my husband's was getting married, and he married a Costa Rican, and they are fondly known as ticas. Costa Rican women are ticas, and Costa Rican fellows are ticos. And it's a term of endearment. And so he married a lady that was teaching at the same private school as he was, because he came to Costa Rica. There were no jobs in Calgary for teachers at that time. And so they invited us to their wedding, and I thought, well, let's go a couple of months later, because then we'll be able to ask them all sorts of questions about how they did it and what they're doing. And he graciously had us come and sent us, he said, you want to get out of San Jose and you want to go to, and he said, my favorite area, which was the southern zone, or just about 2.5 hours, 3 hours south of San Jose and the San Jose airport where we arrived. And we went to Manuel Antonio. And we stayed in Manuel Antonio for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we had discovered Costa Rica, and we were completely in love with it. We had met a ton of expats, and I asked them how they did what they did. And at the end, we ended up purchasing a condo that was in the same condo, building that we rented in.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. That was how many years ago?
So that was 19 years ago.
19 years ago. Well, before that, you said you were traveling to all these different places, and I think from what I got from that, they're pretty much all Latin, Spanish. So are you fluent in Spanish? Were you fluent before you moved?
Good question. I'm going to be completely honest here. So I speak fluent Spanglish.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, it gets me by. I always endeavor to learn, new words every day. And a great way to learn Spanish is to converse with everyday, people, whether it's someone that, if you have a business, maybe they are your gardener, or they are your,
Right.
just friends, or spouses of friends that have married Costa Rican people. But you have to be really strict and not allow yourself to let that English get in there. So the reason and my excuse that I am not deeply fluent in Spanish, and I will be, is because there is a lot of English
Right.
spoken here, and so you could get by, and that's what we did. But we do have work with Spanish.
It's a beautiful language, though. It's a beautiful language. I have been trying, and I know this is sad, I've been trying to learn Spanish for years, and I get pretty good at it, and then I stop because I don't have anybody to speak to. So I can read it because I'm French, so it's very close. I can read it. If you speak slowly, I understand. I could get by. It's the speaking problem. So I just love the Latin community. So Costa Rica's got another check mark for me.
Good. And if you speak French, you're gonna get to know your Spanish is gonna come so much easier.
Absolutely, yeah. But we were talking before today, this interview, Melissa, and you said something when we were talking last time. You said you can guide people through the do's and the don'ts of investing in a beautiful country like Costa Rica. And something stuck with me when you said that. And I think it's because of the realness of that conversation, the realness of that statement, because it says a lot. You can walk people through the do's and don'ts. If people want to go purchase, if they want to live, if they want to be a snowbird, if they want to vacation. And I think the reason it struck me is because a lot of salespeople, they just want to get that sale. And I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of salespeople, they just want to make that sale. And especially because in the sector you're in some of the property you deal with, it's quite luxurious and exotic. And so it's probably a highly competitive market. But you actually take the time. You take the time to guide them. You explain everything. They have questions. Because this is a huge step in a lot of people's lives. It's a huge financial decision, whether it's to relocate, to vacation, whatever it may be. People work hard for their money. And you kind of just take this, from what I got out of that conversation, this very personal approach to it. And so what I'm asking is, where did the integrity come from? Where did that selling integrity come from?
Well, thank you so much for that, because that is my intention. And I think that, we all, and I know you and I would completely be paralleled on this. We all have gifts, and I feel like since I was a little girl, I loved to bring something to someone that they might need and see how it may change their life. And um, we really are our own brand, and we really just have our own reputation. And so now that I am in Costa Rica and sharing the experience that we had both as vacationers and as people that purchased and live here, it truly is a great honor. Just like you said, it makes a difference in people's lives. It's one of the most important decisions they're going to make, whether they're retiring, if they're going to relocate to a foreign country. There's a lot to that. And so it's really important to take the time and to guide. And so that person can make that decision that they're going to be happy with in the long term, and when it's time to close that chapter, they're going to know, but it's not going to be because they didn't have the information and they, didn't have the resources. And I think that that's what we provide, is that connection to take, just to discover and to guide and step by step to hopefully make it easier. Yeah. So I appreciate that you said that. It's just, I feel that I'm called to do this. And so that's, I want to do it as well as I can. And I want people to be happy with the experience.
And when you love what you do, it comes out. It comes out. And you obviously have a love for Costa Rica. I mean, you're Canadian. You're always going to be, your citizenship is Canadian. But you feel the love you have for that country and its people when you speak. And that's something that's going to really permeate through the other people who are possibly thinking of coming there. So, it's comforting to know that there's people like you out there, because right now in this world that we live in globally, not just there, not just here, it's a really confusing, scary time in the world. And when the travel ban is fully lifted, not just select countries can be coming in and going, people are going to be a lot more cautious. They're going to be, more nervous. They're going to be a little bit more careful when their first trip abroad. And so to have that, so Costa Rica opened their borders, you're there to help them. What steps have you personally in your own business and your country, I suppose, done to ensure the safety of your guests, of people coming in and crossing your borders?
So you're absolutely right. The gates are open to Canadians and to those that are part of the EU and UK. And so we are just getting our first plane loads of wonderful Canadians that are here to experience. And so we have, for example, just as an example, I had someone purchase a home sight unseen because and this was about 2 weeks ago. And 2 days ago, they walked into their new home and they had never seen it, but we had done everything we could to ensure that this was what they really wanted. And so the process of that, just to take you back for a quick second, was to go through the house. Because you're absolutely right. It's so confusing. There's so much online. And so not only do we need to be able to reach our guests or our clients digitally, but we need to make sure we do it in a way where they, that it's transparent. Right. And so we went through the home with on Zoom, as we are, and sort of showed all the parts of the home and answered any questions. Of course, they had seen photos and knew everything about the home from our conversations, walked around the land. They knew who was managing the development. And then the process with a lawyer is when a realtor, or when your own lawyer firsthand, but most great realtors will have great lawyers that they work with. And so a client will choose, maybe we'll give 3 options and they'll see which lawyer they want to work with. Oh, and nice. So that lawyer's Sorry, what was that?
I said, that's nice. Like you actually give them options.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these lawyers will have a list of things that need to be presented before that buyer can safely purchase the house. And so it's a process that we go through to provide all the documents and make sure that, you know, water is registered, that taxes are up to date. The inspection, the home, it's in the condition that, you know, that it's said to be. And if there are things to repair, these are all outlined. And so all of that is discussed. So it's a process of about a month. And then once someone comes into their home, they know what they're getting. So, but this is definitely an unprecedented time, like you said, and people are needing to trust more, you know, these people that they're seeing online and maybe not seeing in person first. And so, as far as what you were asking, people traveling now, it's really about making them feel safe. So when someone comes to the airport, for example, we can give them a host of concierge services that they may need. So how are they actually going to get to their destination? So if they're renting, I recommend that you're picked up personally in a private van that's been pre-set up. You don't want to decide that once you're at the airport. So Kimberly, if you came with your family and you said, I just want a 1-week getaway, you and I would go through a host of things to see what kind of experience you want to have. Where do you want to vacation? What kinds of things do you want to experience? And what would be the safety measures that you need to take? And the first things to know really are, you know, what are the airlines requiring that you do for the safety of the people that you're coming in to this country, and also for your safety. And so we would go through what's required. And to be honest, it changes. It changes week to week. So we're constantly getting updates on, you know, what the measures are, where you can drive. But thankfully, Costa Rican has taken a real leadership role on that, and they have put their citizens. I happen to be a resident here. I'm a citizen of Canada, but I'm a resident of Costa Rica. So so basically they've put very well into place and give us updates a couple of times a week, so we can then come to our guests and people coming into the country and make sure they're well informed.
Perfect. Now, I just want to say, I keep getting feedback from saying that your bandwidth is low. So I'm hoping that all of this is going to go smoothly, but it does keep coming up saying Melissa Klassen's bandwidth is low. So let's hope that works out.
And I have to say, that's quite funny because we do have really good bandwidth, but we are in the rainy season right now. Yeah. And so unlike the 4 seasons that you get in Canada, we have 2 seasons. So we have what we call our green season, and we have our dry season, or what we call summer season. And our summer is December to May. So it's the opposite of your summer. So it's perfect, right?
That's absolutely perfect. That's what snowbirds want. That's what people who, or maybe even thinking of relocating, they're going to go those months that they don't want to be here, right? And fall in love with what you have to offer. So that's perfect months, perfect summer months. But so I just want to kind of
it is perfect.
Yeah. I just want to go back just a little bit because it kind of fascinates me, the whole process. You know, I've been on vacation. Most of our listeners, many of our listeners would have been on vacation on one form or another. So you're talking about all of these steps that you're going to do to help them, you know, plan things before they arrive at the airport. I mean, that's a given. Most people should know that. And if you don't, plan things before you get to the airport. So, because it can be a confusing, scary thing. But I have seen your catalog online. I have seen your website. I have seen what you have to offer, some of what you have to offer, not the whole island, obviously, or your locations, but it is amazing. Like, I was watching some of your videos, and I'm not even exaggerating, my heart started beating faster because I'm looking at these going, holy moly. When I say luxury, I don't want to scare people off thinking it's something that they can't have, that it's too high for them to obtain. Because when we think luxury, sometimes we kind of back off of that. But I mean, it is luxury. It is complete luxury what I'm watching on your website. But the thing is, I don't know if my mindset was thinking luxury as in a North American dollar kind of wise, but I was going through this, and I just want to say, I live in Ontario, Canada. So we have Northern Ontario, which is just amazingly gorgeous. Some of the properties on your website, in your catalogs, brochures, I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology here, but for instance, I'm just going to use one for an instance, okay? It was $400,000. Home. This was a home, a luxury home. Something's going on with my, there we go. $400,000 on the ocean. It was, and I'm thinking, if we drive north of my house, 4 hours, we go up north for a lakeside cottage that you get to visit maybe 3 months out of the whole entire year because of our weather. It's $400,000 and up for just a lakeside cottage. And this, your homes that are up there, that was up there, the one I'm speaking of, was $400,000. We would consider that a mansion here. It was breathtaking. And that was just one. There was some with lower dollar amounts. There were some with much higher dollar amounts. But it was $400,000 mansion that somebody could buy and own forever. And that's what they pay for a cottage up north here. It's incredible. And I'm really, like, we're going to have on our website, we're going to have your website and your videos so people can go check out, and on our YouTube. But I just want to say, like, go check them out because you're going to be blown away. And not only, what if, okay, I don't want to move to Costa Rica. I just want to go, you know, for a vacation, a week or two. You still have amazing vacation rentals that are like, you're not going to get them in a Cuban resort. I'm telling you that. What you're offering. Can you just talk to us a little bit about what you offer, like as far as accommodations?
Absolutely. And I do hope there was a little bit of lag. So when you said ocean,
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we're good. I was just saying we had a couple of storms, and so it might be on my end. And but yes, thank you. It is really true that you can get an ocean view home here for under $400,000. And I know it's not always the case. I have properties that range from $79,000 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condominium on the outskirts, but close to everything, and up all the way up to $8.4 million for a large parcel of land. And so it really, there's something for everyone, just depending on what you want. So if you want to be in the mountains, you know, with more land, if you want to have some chickens, and we actually have goats,
Nice.
you know, but we're really close to, we're 10 minutes from the beach behind me. And so, you know, we're up on a hill, and then we're 20 minutes from a world-class marina in Capos, Manuel Antonio, and we're 15 minutes north of Dominical, which has a surfing beach and fun little town and all kinds of developments. So it's sort of like there's something for everybody, whether you want to get away from it all or you just want a little 1-bedroom tucked away in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I shouldn't say nowhere, it's somewhere. But so it's affordable. It's absolutely affordable. It is